I want Kingsley's head on a silver platter. Let's talk about this shit. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to KRS TV. This is your boy Kenny, and this is Empire Season 5, Episode 9, and this is the fall finale, and the name of this episode is Had It From My Father. As I said in the intro, I want Kingsley's head on a silver platter because Kingsley is doing the most, and more is revealed, not only about him being Lucius' son, but also his mother Tracy's role in the whole situation. So let me begin. The episode picked up where it left off. Bella has the gun and the whole family's panicking. Hakeem starts singing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, and he's able to sneak up on Bella and actually remove the gun from her, which actually makes, Hakeem and Tiana both embrace Bella. So one thing we see is that they do love their children. But then afterwards, we see that Cookie has a conversation with Tiana, and Lucius has a conversation with Hakeem. Pretty much, Cookie lets her know that, we feel personally responsible that we have made you and Hakeem live up to who me and Lucius are. This whole ride or die thing. Y'all were pretty much Cookie and Lucius, part 2. And she pretty much lets her know that, this whole thing about ride or die, it's all a damn lie. And I'm glad she said that, because a lot of times you be riding and dying for a motherfucker who don't give a damn. So, and she says that whole ride or die thing, it traps you. But, you're going to have to make that change. And right now, you need to move forward. And if Hakeem meets you along the way, that's fine. But sometimes you got to move forward without him. And you just got to do what you got to do. Then we see Lucius and Hakeem having this conversation. Lucius is going in like, we lived our lives so that you wouldn't have to carry a gun, and yet you're up in here holding on a damn gun and damn near put your daughter in danger. Like, what the hell is going on, Hakeem? That ain't the way to solve nothing. Like, me and your mother, due to the fact that we lived that street life, we had to do that. But we went through the hell so that you wouldn't have to go through it. And then, Hakeem was like, yeah, whatever, Dad, but I can handle my own shit. And he's like, sit your ass down. And he lets him know that, look, you need to clean your house, because you're the only one in this family that doesn't have blood on their hands. You're the only one that doesn't have blood on his hands. You need to keep it that way. Clean your house up and make things right. And then Hakeem is just like, yeah, Dad, whatever. And then he ends up leaving. Then we see, now I'm going to talk about this whole situation with Kai and Jamal, because Kai really pissed me off. And I'm just going to wrap it all together. See, Kai, as we saw from the last episode, Lucius reached out to him to expose this whole thing that Kingsley is doing at Empire, where he's selling, customers' information to the feds. So Kai actually leaks the story, and we see in the news. And then when Kingsley sees it, Kingsley gets mad as shit. And I was like, yeah, that's what's up. Get his ass. But then Kai didn't stop there, because the whole purpose was to him to leak the information that Kingsley was made a deal with the feds where he's going to be selling, customer information, for profit, which is like a complete breach of customer and client, conduct. So we see later on in the episode, Kai decides to let Jamal know that ain't all I found. I did some research on Lucius, and all of the artists, Lucius had every artist screened. He had a profile on every artist that he had on Empire, And some of these artists had issues like domestic violence, drug trafficking, money laundering, and your father covered it all up. And Jamal was like, well, hell, he had to do what he had to do to protect his artist. I mean, hey, if you look under my name, you'll probably find drug addict because nobody knew about that publicly. My family covered that up. But then Kai was like, so I gotta do this. And then Jamal was like, what you mean you gotta do this? Like, what you talking about? He's like, you know how I feel about partial truths. Then he showed his tattoo where truth conquers all. So he's like, I gotta tell this story. I can't just sit on this. But he's like, but Jamal is like, but why is it that every time I turn around, somebody's always making me choose them or my family? Like, what the hell is this shit? And then Jamal was like, but this is about to become your family too, man. Why would you do this? And then Kai was like, well, I'll hold off for now from telling the story, but I also want to let you know that I got 2 job offers that are permanent positions, and the jobs are in London, and I think we need to take a break from each other, and walked off. And I was like, fuck you, Kai. Fuck you. Because now you want to be all about these partial truths and shit. First of all, Lucius was the one who gave you the green light to do the fucking story, and then now you're going to try to expose Lucius too? Kai ain't shit. And I was just so hurt for Jamal, because it's like Jamal be trying to get it right with these men, and for some odd reason, he always picks a dud. Because now, damn Kai is like on some other shit. Yeah, you didn't want to expose that, but then again, you don't want to be put in the front light about you dating Jamal because Jamal's a pop star. Kai's full of shit. And this episode proved how full of shit Kai really is. But we're going to see whether he's going to leak that story or not, or whether he'll end up, dead, buried, and stinking. We'll have to find. We'll just have to see when the show comes back. But Kai really pissed me off. I was done with that shit. For real. Alright. So then after that whole situation involving Bella, Lucius and Cookie come together, and he was like, and all of a sudden Lucius was like, what the hell were we arguing about? So it's like that whole situation just totally erased the fact that he was mad at Cookie because Cookie withheld that property from him. And Cookie's like, well, I don't know, Mr. Thomas Crown Affair. I was like, you better get his ass, Cookie, because he did rip that painting and shit. So she was like going in, but then they come together and it's like, look, we need to fix things. And she's like, yeah, we got to get out here and we got to do this hustle because love don't pay the bills, and we got to make sure that this showcase is secure and that it's going to set us right, because if we don't, we lose everything. And then, he brings up Kingsley. She was like, fuck Kingsley. Let's focus on this showcase. So then we see Kingsley and Giselle having a conversation. And Giselle is like, look, this is your options. Either you let me run Empire, or I'm going to expose that you're Lucius' little cub. And he was like, I'm the eldest. But then he was like, look, it's either a yes or no. But then he's like, I'll make you my co-CEO because I've set a lot of detonators out here and I would hate for you to walk into one. So it's best that we work together. We and you can run Empire and we can destroy Lucius together. So what do you think about that? All of a sudden she's like, do they serve champagne before noon? I'm like, Giselle, don't put yourself in the... Like, Giselle really wants power more than anything. But I'm like, your quest for power may end up putting you down just like Anika's ass. So yeah, let's see. So now that this whole story about Kai leaking all this information, to the feds, it's now out there. The press has gotten hands on it, and they're even losing, partnerships and, people who were backing them are now backing out. And that happens with scandals. People who were riding with you, or companies that were sponsoring you, they jump ship when shit hits the fan. So now that shit hits the fan, they losing a lot of partnerships and endorsements. Kelly Patel is pissed the fuck off, and he was saying that you never get on top of this shit and you better fix it. And I was like, we starting to see this. I'm starting to see even more this evil side of Kelly Patel. And I was like, yeah, the two of them definitely. And I think Kelly may have known some shit too. But I think when the show comes back, we're probably going to find out more about Kelly. But Kelly definitely had that evil side. And we see in that situation, when Kelly was talking about this shit, that damn Kingsley was a mute. It was Giselle that was talking to him and was kind of like being the CEO of that situation, and was telling him like, look, we're gonna actually put out a statement. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do that. Boom, boom, boom. But then that damn Kingsley's like, oh, don't worry, Kelly. I'm gonna find out who was behind this leak. And Kelly was like, you better. And I'm like, motherfucker, you were the one that was behind the damn leak. You the one that was doing the bullshit. But what he actually ends up doing, that's why I said I want Kingsley's head on a silver platter. Well, that's not the only reason, but that's one of the main reasons. Because, so then, we also get a scene with Andre. And I'm just going to tie Andre all together, too. Quincy's now out of jail. His mom has set up, Christmas in July. And it was a really nice moment, and she's thanking Andre, and she says that you're a blessing to us. I thank you so much. And, she asks Quincy, what do you want to do? He says that, I want to have some hot dogs on the beach. So she said, okay, that's what we're going to do. And then she offers for Andre to go with them, but he was like, nah, it's okay. I actually got a lot of work to do, but I'll see you later. And he ends up leaving. So we kind of see that Andre, and at this point right now, is feeling, he's feeling some kind of way, because he really does like Terry and he does care for Quincy, but he knows his past and he knows that there's a lot of darkness there, and he doesn't want to bring them into that. And later on, we see that he has a conversation with Lucius, and Lucius says that, look, you deserve good things. You've been through a lot, but yet you're a survivor. You're a lion. You've been through hell and back, and yet you're still here. You deserve to be happy. You deserve, you deserve to have something good. So we see that, Andre ends up meeting them. He sends, Quincy goes to the bathroom or whatever, and we see that him and Terry have a moment, and he lets her know that, look, I'm a dangerous man. I don't want to bring my negative life onto you and Quincy. And she was saying that, but that's not what I see. I don't see that at all. And then he also talks about the last time I was on this beach was after my wife died, because remember, he was having that conversation with Rhonda's ghost at that same beach. And pretty much at that moment they end up, really connecting. So Terry and Andre have pretty much made it official that they're gonna start dating. So they pretty much make out on the beach and everything. And I was wondering if little Quincy was gonna come and catch them. But we're gonna see how that's gonna play out later. Whether this will rock, Quincy and Andre's relationship now that he's, getting it in with his moms. Them teenagers, especially teenage boys, are very protective of their mothers. So we're going to see how this is going to play out. Let's see. So then we actually see that they're pretty much rehearsing for the showcase. The choreography's all messed up. Maya's doing the choreography, so she got Maya working. Maya's doing the choreography, trying to choreograph the show. You got the 3 black divas up there. Carlito's up there. Devon is up there. But Hakeem is a no-show, so no one knows where Hakeem is. And Cookie is just flying off the hinges, because she's like, this show gotta work and this show has to come together. And then all of a sudden, we even had this little exchange where Devon was like, well, you know, if this show is so important, where's Hakeem? I mean, he's a part of the Lion family. Why isn't he here? That damn Cookie was like, first of all, you need to be worried about your song and be worrying about your steps and not worrying about who's here and who ain't here, because this is a make or break situation. Either you guys are gonna rise or you guys are gonna sink, because this showcase determines whether all of you will have a career or not. So we definitely see that going on, and of course Cookie's pissed because Lucius is supposed to be there, but Lucius is not, so she's practically running the rehearsals by herself. Then we get a scene with Hakeem and Tiana. You know, Hakeem pretty much apologizes to how the way he spoke to her, but then Tiana was like, I can't do this anymore with you. And she says, we're probably just not good for each other. And probably we never were. And Hakeem was like, look, I know we're not good for each other, but we can be good to each other. Those children need both me and you. And he tried to go in for a kiss, but Tiana backed up. But we definitely see that there is love between them, but you know, there's just a lot of issues there, and a whole lot of going back and forth. And we've seen Hakeem and Tiana go back and forth since season 1, so we definitely know that, yeah, their relationship at times is good, then at times it's toxic. So they pretty much decided that they're just going to be parents, and they're going to try to work with each other. And then we see later on, after that, he actually goes to meet with Blake. Blake is actually at a billiard hall, hanging out with his crew or whatever. They all playing pool, and he goes up in there, and everybody stops. He's like, "Yo, I ain't even got no gun." And he says, but Blake, I need to talk to you. So him and Blake started rapping, and he told him, like, look, today I almost lost my Bella. That immediately broke Blake, and he was like, man, I'm so sorry, man. Let's sit down and talk. And they started talking, and he was like, look, I wanted to let you know that, look, nothing went on between me and Tiana. I was just there helping her with the kids, and that was it. Nothing like that happened. And pretty much he actually talked about, the thing about it, I'm sorry that we did this song. My intention was not to put the song out, but one thing led to another, and we ended up doing the song. But then he was like, look, Hakeem, I'm willing to do any and everything to kind of end this beef, so just say the word and I'm with you. So it was good to see that Blake and Hakeem, finally made up. Then we get one of the damn shockers, because we see that Becky and Giselle is talking. They talking about this whole situation because, now it's out in the press about this whole leak. And then all of a sudden, they walking down the hall, and all of a sudden we see all these guards there. That motherfucker Kingsley pins this shit on Becky. So, and tells Kelly that, and pretty much does all of this shit, with all her emails and shit, saying that she's been working with Lucius Lyon. She's been affiliated with them, and that's where she got all of her information, and that's who's a part of this whole thing getting exposed, and she's not good for business. So now he done pinned that whole thing on fucking Becky. And Becky literally gets escorted out by guards and shit. So Becky about to go down for some shit that he did. And I'm like, I want Kingsley's head on a silver platter for that shit. But even more for what he ends up doing later. But then again, Becky, your ass should have fucking left with Lucius and the Lyon family when they were no longer at the helm. Your ass wanted to chase your career, wanted to chase your endeavors. And now the person that you was working with has now turned on you. So, that goes to show you, your ass should have stayed with the Lions. And then, all of a sudden, Giselle is like, what the hell are you doing? She had nothing to do with this. And he looks at Giselle and was like, sink or swim. Either you gonna ride with her, or you gonna ride with me. And I'm like, see, Kingsley's an evil piece of shit. And then we see that, Lucius and Thirsty have a conversation where You know, because now that Becky's went down, Lucius' name was also pinned on it, because they made it seem as if that she was getting information from Lucius to take down Empire and take down Kingsley. You know, Thursday's like, look, I'm ahead on this. I'm on top of this whole situation with Becky. But Becky, they pinned everything on Becky. And then Lucius like, oh, this motherfucker is setting this shit up because he wants me to snitch. And throughout my whole career, I ain't never fucking snitched. You know, so Lucius is pissed the fuck off. Because he was supposed to have been on his way to the showcase to work with Cookie. But he was mad. Like, raving fucking mad. So then it comes down to the damn showcase. Lucius is still a no-show because now he's gonna go see fucking Kingsley's ass. Cookie does the intro, and then we see the opening number was Blake and Hakeem, and they come out with Tiana, and they did the song based off of their whole situation when they were almost killed by Blake's father. You know, that aftermath. One More Minute, like, and they killed it. Then all of a sudden, we see that Giselle and Kingsley are at Empire. Next thing you know, we see Lucius come up in that bitch, and he beats the dog shit out of Kingsley, whooping his fucking ass. And then Giselle's like, Lucius, stop! Stop! You're gonna kill him! Stop! Lucius! He's your son! He's your son! And then he was like, what the fuck you talking about? And she was like, White Tracy is his mother. This is your son. And then all of a sudden, Kingsley with his smug ass was like, you gonna hit me again, Dad? I'm like, see, this motherfucker gotta go. Like, Kingsley makes my fucking blood boil. And then we see that Lucius goes to see Kingsley's mother in the hospital. Her name is Tracy. Then when we actually see the two of them together, they do a flashback, and we see how young Tracy, being a little fast ass trick, you know, was up there getting drugs from Lucius, and he's trying to tell her, you need to slow up on this stuff, and she's like, don't worry about it, Lucius, I know what I'm doing, being fast in the ass. And her and Lucius was also smashing. And then we see a young Shine. You know, this is back in the day when him and Shine were like boys. And Shine was like, yo, you need to kind of slow up on all these chicks you smashing and shit. And he's like, man, I'm Lucius Lyon. I'm gonna do me. And then Shine was like, nah, man, you just need to get you one girl. Get you that ride or die. You know. And then all of a sudden, when it comes back to present day, that damn Tracy opens up her eyes and was like, Lucius. And he was like, I can't believe this shit. I mean, me and you only kind of messed around like maybe a few times or whatever. And she was like, that's all it takes. Look at him. Look at his eyes. I'm willing to even take a DNA. You know, that is our son. You know, that he's ours. You know, he's your son. And she says, I tried to tell you before, but he's your son. And then I'm like, damn. So then we see finally after that, Lucius goes to the showcase. He's trying to tell Cookie, but Cookie's like, you know what? I am not here for you and your shit. We need to get this damn show on the road, and whatever you got to say ain't that fucking important. We can talk about it later. Let's get out here and do this shit. Then we see a performance with the three black divas and Devon, Hakeem, and Carlito. That shit shut down. And then they're getting endorsements now from Apple, Live Nation, and Nike. And they're getting endorsements in the millions, like 30 mil plus. So this damn showcase is a success. They're killing it. So then we see Giselle shows up to the showcase and meets up with Cookie and Lucius. And she's saying that, how would you like to be back at the helm of Empire? You know, yeah, this is all good, but why not actually be back at the helm where you guys belong? You running the Empire where you both deserve to be. But all I say is that if we do this, I gotta be co-partner. You know, I'm giving you the throne back. Because I don't like how Kingsley's moving, and I don't like what he did to Becky. So we're seeing where So we're pretty much now seeing where Giselle lies in this whole situation. She's about power, but really at the end of the day, she really has no issue between Lucius and Cookie. She was just Team Eddie, but now Eddie's dead. She really ain't got nothing against them. Because in a way, they were the only ones that were embracing her ideas, where Kingsley's always shut her down. So we already see that's what Giselle wants. She wants power, and pretty much Lucius said, "Well, think about it." Then we see, Cookie and Lucius have a moment. We're pretty much not only, so pretty much they're talking about, here it is. We got Lions Family Management. It's a success. This is our future. But then Empire, was our foundation. And Cookie was like, we can have it all. And he says that, but yeah, we're going to need some money, to kind of keep us going, until we get, solid. So, right now we just can't just be, we have to be on our A. And she pulls out the damn $5 million check. She decided to sell the damn property. And she says, I'm all in with you. And again, he tried to tell her, but again, Portia comes back and lets them know that, look, the showcase is over and they're waiting for you guys. So then they get on stage, they bring up the family, Andre, Jamal, and Hakeem. They're all on stage and they're talking about, the Lions Family Management and all of that. And, pretty much the showcase was a success, as I said before. They're talking, to the crowd, and then the next thing you know, that motherfucking Kingsley comes back, bruised and all, still talking shit. Lucius, should I tell them, or should you tell them, or should I? Yeah, Dad. And I'm like, I'm so sick of this little motherfucker. Oh, I just wanted to strangle his ass. And then they do a flashback where we see that Kingsley's a little boy and he's with his mother. His mother is actually clean and sober. And we see that she goes to Lucius' house, and on the steps we see young Andre and young Jamal. They're playing with their little cars and stuff. Kingsley goes over there to play with them. And, because Kingsley's older than them. So he goes to play with his little brothers or whatever. And then all of a sudden we see that Tracy goes to knock at the door. Now, personally, Tracy's stupid ass went about this the wrong fucking way. Because the whole idea was that she brought him there for him to meet his dad. Because that's exactly what she told him. We're going to go meet your daddy. He went to go play with Andre and Jamal. She knocks on the door. And she literally shows up unannounced. And of course, Lucius kind of blew her off because he's like, this is one of my little drug fiends and shit. And she's like, why the hell are you coming to my house? Bunky and all of them are out there. You're like, Cookie's cousin Bunky. He's like, Bunky's out there. You're like, you could go somewhere else and get your shit. But she's like, well, that's not what I'm here. And she's like, I want to introduce you to my son. And, his name is Jeff. And he shakes Kingsley's little Kingsley's hand, and he was like, "Yo, you don't need to be coming here like that." Then we hear Cookie in the back. She's like, "Who is it?" And he's like, "I got it under control. I'll be back in a second." So he just kind of gives her some money and tells her to get the fuck on. You ain't supposed to. You can't be here. And at that moment, that's when the damn evil Kingsley was born, because he said. So then we see he pulls out the $20. So he only gave her $20 and told her to get the fuck on. And he said that $20, from that damn day, my mother was never sober again. So he's blaming Lucius for his mother getting back on drugs because she got clean and sober after she had her baby. And she wanted to introduce her son, to his father. But when Lucius blew her off and gave her some money and told her to go get your fix somewhere else. But I'm saying the way she went about it was wrong. So at the end of the day, I don't blame Lucius. I blame Tracy's dumbass. You should have said, you should have kind of had, you should have like maybe met Lucius at a restaurant or something, and y'all should have sat down and had a conversation, and then you tell him about Kingsley. But you showed up at his house unannounced, and you don't show up to black people's house unannounced, bitch. So you got what you deserved with your dumb ass. But Kingsley, being a kid and being stupid and not knowing the full story, he believed what he wanted to believe. So that day, Kingsley, the evil motherfucker that we see now, was born. And he pretty much says that my mother was never sober after that day. And then he also says that, yes, you know, Lucius came to my office and beat me up. And, you know, my mother went into like cardiac arrest after he went to go visit her and all of this shit. And then all of a sudden you just see that Lucius is just mute. And we see that Cookie's reacting, the boys are reacting. They're looking like, yo, what the fuck is this, Dad? Is this shit true? Lucius can't say anything. Because it was kind of like his chickens were coming home to roost. But then next thing you know, we see that damn Andre, because you know Andre right now, a hothead. Andre ready to catch a body. All of a sudden, Andre rushes up to him, and he was like, oh, what you gonna do? You gonna hit me too? And Andre was like, no, I'm going to end you. And then Kingsley was like, you know, not if I end you first, little bro. Bring it. I'm like, oh, Kingsley gotta go. I want his head on a silver platter. And then we get one of the ending scenes. One of the lions is rushed to the hospital. We see that Cookie and Lucius is, you know, Cookie's panicking. She's like, that's my baby, that's my baby. No, no, no. And then we see the person that's in the damn hospital is Andre, and he flatlined. So we're seeing that it's possible that Andre is the one in that casket. And I'm like, oh shit. This is gonna be some shit. And the question is, what happened to Andre that put him in that state? So I think we're going to have to find out, you know, with the spring premiere, because I think Empire and Star come back in March. But yeah, this shit was everything. So that's what I have, y'all. If I missed anything, put it down in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. But subscribe to my channel. Click that bell so you can get notifications every time I drop a video. Also, follow me on all of my social platforms. I have them all listed in the description box. Also, like this video, comment on this video, and share this video. And I will be back with the spring premiere of Empire. So until next time, everybody, take care.